video games. A great way to pass the time. But did you know your skills as a gamer just might be the ticket to a fantastic career in science, technology, engineering, or math? Wait a second. Go. Yes, awesome. I'll try more later. You might never guess it, but your skills with one of these may have a lot to do with the incredible world of flight and flying. Air vehicles. They've been around for a long time now. Many people tried their hand at inventing the first flying machine, but it was two bicycle makers from Dayton, Ohio, Oroville and Wilbur Wright, who were the first to pilot a plane. The age of flight was born, and it quickly grew up. What do these all have in common? They all need a pilot. We're now in a new age of flight and air vehicles, the age of the UAV, the unmanned air vehicle. You might know the UAV by another name. This field is growing so fast that we're still trying to find just the right name for it. The concept of the UAV is pretty simple. It's a flying machine that takes to the air without a human pilot on board. The first UAVs were developed in Dayton as well. Way back in 1918, inventor Charles Kettering developed what was called the Kettering bug. The bug could take off and then strike a ground target up to 75 miles away. Fast forward to now. While other UAVs were developed over the years, they looked nothing like today's unmanned air vehicles. In fact, they might not even look like anything you've seen before. They fly like other airplanes, but without a pilot on board, how they navigate is quite different.
A pilot flies an unmanned aircraft through use of what we call a ground control station. Essentially what it is a computer that's on the ground, and through wireless communications with the aircraft through something similar to what you have with your cell phone. The pilot can send commands to the aircraft and tell it what direction to travel, what to do with its sensors, what orientation it should be at.
You might have a GPS in your family car. Well, UAVs will often utilize a sophisticated GPS or global positioning system within their onboard computers to help determine their location. In addition, many UAVs have cameras that are a great aid in navigation. And that's where this comes into play. Someone has to be watching the video being transmitted from the cameras. And that someone is more and more often a person who first developed great skill playing video games. Could that be you? Someone with a keen interest in technology and the ability to fly an unmanned air vehicle that might be hundreds or even thousands of miles away.
The use of the gaming environment helps enhance certain critical skills that individuals need to actually fly these types of vehicles.
There's definitely some hand-eye coordination involved with the job. Specifically, you can't be sitting there looking at, your joystick the whole time or trying to find a button. You need to be focused on the screen. Some video games can definitely help you with that.
Many of today's UAVs are used by the military. In fact, the United States Air Force now needs more pilots for unmanned air vehicles than for more traditional flying machines. As UAVs become more and more common, scientists and researchers continue to discover new uses for them. UAVs are ideal for getting into places where it might be too dangerous for piloted aircraft. One such place is directly into a hurricane, where an unmanned air vehicle can transmit critical information to meteorologists and scientists. UAVs have also been used in search and rescue missions using sophisticated sensing equipment. And in the future, UAVs might be used by police and fire departments to keep the public safe. Speaking of the future, look at this. It's a micro-air vehicle. A research lab at Wright-Patterson Air Force Base is devoted to finding ways to use these super small UAVs. Micro-air vehicles are similar to radio-controlled planes and helicopters, except They utilize the sophisticated technology of their larger relatives, the UAV. Micro air vehicles are so small that they can be launched in a number of ways, even by hand.
We're working on making flapping wing vehicles, what we call ornithopters, that fly like birds and insects. Flapping wing vehicles are very good for flying indoors and have the ability to hover, fly at high speeds, and perform surveillance.
While the micros have a number of military uses, in the future, you might find them flying through shopping malls as a sort of in-the-air security system. Or they might be hovering above the field of a big sporting event, their cameras giving TV viewers angles they've never seen before. There's no knowing where micro air vehicles will take us. So what careers can be found in air vehicles? Well, electrical engineers will be needed. Design engineers might discover new shapes and forms for our flying machines. And there will always be a need for computer scientists and engineers to develop new, sophisticated flying systems.
If you're interested in this as a career path, you should focus on math and science, microelectronics, and as a hobby, you could also focus on model aircraft and model helicopters to get you some of the practical experience in flying these.
The UAV industry is very fascinating because on a daily basis we get to work with the state-of-the-art in technology, the coolest, the neatest, the newest things that are coming out there we get to play with every day.
It's such a brand new career field that it's unprecedented. It's so new. There's so many opportunities for promotion, expansion, to get more involved with it. It's just the exciting new career field to get into.
When it comes to flying UAVs and micro air vehicles, you could be the next great pilot and never leave the ground. Now back to my game. Time to practice my piloting skills.